Hello and welcome to this yoga flow focused on feeling inward. And for today, we're going to try something a little bit different. Rather than me flowing you through specific poses, I'm going to flow you with words. And so I'm going to use words to express where you wander in your body. If that feels very uncomfortable for you, you can follow my visual cues and move into the poses that I'm taking. However, I won't be explaining those verbally in my cueing. Hopefully that makes sense. You'll kind of get it as we move along. So with that being said, props are optional for today, but if you like props in your practice, you're welcome to have blocks nearby, bolsters, blankets, towels, water bottles, whatever you need to feel into your practice. And we'll begin in a grounding pose. Finding a way to settle into your mat. Maybe you're practicing on a chair. Allowing the body to root down into the ground. Letting everything get heavy as mind and the breath start to slow down. Inviting you to settle into this space, this moment. And quite often we detach from the depth of yoga and really focus solely on the physical practice, the asana, the poses. So this exploration invites you to wander into some of the other limbs of yoga. One of them is known as the niyamas, or the observances, the duties. And there's 5 total, but one specific duty is called svadhyaya, or self-study. And so this specific sequence is designed with that as our intention. Inviting you to feel inward and observe how your body, your mind associates with the words that I offer and where that may take you as you move and hold. Notice what parts of the body touch down to your mat or whatever support is below you. And perhaps visualizing roots plugging you down and pulling you into the earth. And feeling the space above you, the parts of the body that aren't connected to the floor. The space, maybe the temperature of the room, the texture of the air on your skin, on your hair, clothing. And drawing your attention to your breath. Noticing how it feels at the nostrils without trying to shift or change its pattern. Can you see the breath moving into the body and spreading through the respiratory system, expanding into the tissues? Notice how the breath moves the body. And if it's comfortable, maybe you start to deepen, matching the length of the exhales with the length of the inhales. Perhaps you play with the exhales being even slightly deeper, inviting everything to calm down. And as you feel your body move with the breath, perhaps you start to add movements to further express the breath. Perhaps a lifting on the inhale, and the settling on the exhale. May help to close the eyes, taking away any visual distractions so that you can feel in. Good, and continuing to play with the breath. Letting the breath to move through the spine. Maybe shifting your movement or your pose to help draw you into the spine. You feel into your back body. Can you notice where the mind is? The spine, supporting and protecting our nervous system. So if you're feeling really lost in your thoughts, it may be more helpful to find a slower movement. Maybe you find stillness distracting and you can focus in on the body more as you move. Remembering there's no right or wrong. There just is what you feel. You can play with the same movement or adapt and change. Continuing to integrate the grounding and the breath and the spine. And take another breath or two. And then find your way into your core. Whatever that means to you. Start to notice the heat. We often refer to this as the tapas in yoga. It's connected to self-discipline. It's another one of the niyamas or observances. And let yourself continue to breathe. Stay strong through the spine as you activate and integrate the core. Let that heat continue to rise. Let the mind stay focused on feeling inward. See if you can stay for another few rounds of breath. And then shifting your body into a sensation of release. Slowing everything back down. And we continue to build. So as we move through our bodies, we stack everything that came before. So we let ourselves ground. We commit to our breath. We feel the full length, the full capacity of our spine. We feel that energy of the core. And then we soften. Maybe notice if there's any tension in the face, jawline. Remembering that you can move your body whenever you feel the need. Just because I hold or move doesn't mean that you need to be holding or moving. As you soften and release, maybe you find a place where your head comes below your heart. Visualizing anything that doesn't need to be here, dripping out the top of your head. It's draining out of you. Really feel into your foundation. Think about what in your life acts as positive stabilizers or supports. The roots you have that really allow you to feel grounded, feel whole. And feel back into the breath. And see if you can find a way to circle the breath through your body. Drawing it out and around, back in. Letting it move in all directions. We call the directions of the breath the vayus, the energy. We move up and down, and in and out, and all around. They're linear and circular. They bring in newness and they clear out. And maybe this circle transitions into a cycle. Finding a cycle of movement that feels good and allows you to express whatever you need to express in this moment. Notice if you're playing in the familiar or exploring something that's new to you. Let yourself be really curious. Maybe you find more curiosity in still poses. Or maybe you prefer to move. Just notice as you play, this is something foreign to you. As an adult, we can often lose our time for play, getting caught up in our responsibilities. And just making sure in this cycle that you find both sides. We'll play for 5 more rounds of breath. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on your pace. Just making sure that you balance the body. And then find your way into your strength. Returning to the foundation, the breath, the spine, the core, and the softness. Feel your breath flow through you. Send it in all directions. And the cycles remind us that everything is temporary. We have highs and lows. We have death and rebirth. We have day and night. We have in and out. Inhale and exhale. Continue to feel into your strength. Feel that heat rise. Sip in one more long breath. Maybe hold the breath at the top of the inhale. Exhale, release. Fully softening. And see if you can find a place that draws your heart towards the ground. Or maybe you place one hand or both hands on the heart. Pausing to feel the vibrations move within you. Sending yourself compassion and kindness as you explore a way that might not be the most comfortable for you. Maybe a new practice. And then with that sense of love, that sense of acceptance of the self, make your way into a place of vulnerability. It can be a one-sided pose or a two-sided pose. I'll let you know when we're halfway. Maybe the eyelids flutter closed so that you can notice what vulnerability feels like in your body at the tissue level. Notice how you hold your tension. And notice if your mind tries to distract and take you away. With kindness, stay there. Let yourself feel exposed. It's the knowledge that you're practicing at home. And the only person that you are exposing is yourself. And this is a form of self-study. It draws you deeper into your being, your whole. And shifting, if you're in a one-sided pose, or remaining, or maybe you find a second pose. And yoga is not just a practice on the mat. We use the mat, we use the poses and the flows to establish tools that can draw us deeper outside of the mat and in the world, specifically in the relationships that we hold, the communities that we gather or reside in. And the only way that we can create change or create what we desire is to understand ourselves first. That means both our strengths and our vulnerabilities. And we'll stay for an inhale. And stay for an exhale. And inhale. And exhale, transitioning into a place of comfort. Bringing everything in. See how it feels to soften any remaining tension in the body. Scanning through the body. The tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, and through the limbs, the top of your head, and face the throat, into your back, into your core. And you can switch sides if you took a one-sided pose. Come back to the sensation of your breath moving you. Transitioning into a place of surrender. Surrendering your physical body down to your support or supports. Letting your thoughts wander wherever they want to without any judgment or attempt to pull away from. Letting your breath move naturally without any effort or control. And then switching sides if you're taking a two-sided pose. And as you surrender to the support of your mat or your chair or your floor, you think about what it would feel like to accept support from those around you, to soften and lean in rather than trying to face everything on your own. Can you think about what it would be like to act as a stable support for someone else? Recognizing that in both circumstances, there will be both strength and vulnerability. Moving into a place of complete stillness. Somewhere where everything is effortless. Where you don't feel any need to do. You can allow yourself to be. And what would it feel like to show up in this world as your whole self? Connected to your body, and your breath, your mind. Aware of your foundations and aware of your core. Playful, curious, strong, but also vulnerable. Willing to act as a support and be supported. remaining as you are, knowing you can stay here for as long as you need. Take a moment to feel back into the ground, your roots, honoring the land, those who have come before you, your ancestors, those whose land has been taken from them, and those who have been oppressed, ceding their land or unwillingly having to give up their land to allow for where you are right now. Honoring the lineage of yoga, its roots, what has brought it to this space. From its South Asian ancestry to your very teachers, their teachers, and the people you practice with. Reminding yourself that self-study is a tool that serves us all. That the more you understand your ways of being, the better you can show up for others. Because the only thing that we can truly change is ourselves. And the way that we choose to show up is reflected back to those who watch us and those who engage with us. And take a full inhale to honor and thank yourself for being here and exploring inward. Exhale gratitude to everyone who supports, nourishes, and helps you be you. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for sharing in this practice with me. These videos are made through love and hard work. Your contributions allow me to keep sharing new content with you. If you're able to give back financially, please click the Make a Donation button on the homepage of this channel. You're also welcome to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest video offerings. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Don't be Kona!